Well, thanks once more for joining me here again on my YouTube channel as we take a look at more of those classic and vintage motorcycles here in my world of classic dirt bikes. Now in this featured video we are going to take a look at the racing action from the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club's Round 1 event held at Finavon Hill in Forfar on the 1st of April 2018. Now we're going to cover every race from this event, and we will be talking about a few of the riders taking part in this Scottish Classic inaugural round of 2018. Now the first bikes on the track will be the pre-1968 class. And on the line there is number 246 is Ian Ward, number 71 is Brian Aird, 51 is Ian Ridley, as they line up waiting for our starter, Mr. David Hillis, to let them go. So as they leave the line, it looks like a good start by Brian Aird, but looks like Liston Bell has made the dive down the inside. And so as they make their way up Finavon Hill for the very first time of the day, it looks like Liston Bell, number 98, has already got a substantial lead on second place man. That's Andrew King just going through on the HIS Stormer. Ryan Aird on the BSA, number 71, coming through. Clifford Hardesty, number 72, followed by Mike Bell, number 89. Mike Bell, of course, looks like he's riding his old BSA Gold Star at this event. And so as they crest the Finavon Hill once again, it's still Liston Bell who has that very substantial lead over second place man Andrew King on that 250 HIS Stormer. Track conditions still very good at this event, despite Scotland having come through a very late winter snowstorm just weeks before this event, when the Beast from the East paid a visit and brought Scotland to a standstill with a substantial fall of snow. So anyway, coming towards us there, number 72, that's Clifford Hardesty on the BSA. And so as the leading pair come round to start their last lap, it's still Liston Bell in the lead, with Andrew King still close behind and giving that little HIS Stormer the message to try and shorten the distance between himself and the first place man of Liston Bell. Next man up, of course, is Mike Bell there, number 89. Number 66 there is Jim McQuillian from Galashiels in the Scottish borders. Very decent rider, Jim, and you can see him on his lovely little BSA. Number 71 there, of course, is Brian Aird, related to the CCM racing legend, of course, Jimmy Aird. So as the rest of the riders come round to take the checkered flag, it was a win for Liston Bell with Andrew King second. As Mike Bell takes the checkered flag for race 1. Number 51 there is Ian Ridley on just one of Ian's immaculately turned out BSA. Close behind Ian is number 246. That's Ian Ward on the Villiers 250 Sprite. So that's the first race of the day, the pre-1968 class. Next up, we're going to go to the combined pre-1975 up to and over 300cc. Now, number 109 there on the 250 Husqvarna, that's one of the lady riders of the club. That's Sarah Louise Nelson, taking part in this pre-1975 race. So once again, we're waiting on our starter, Mr. David Hillis, to let the bikes go, and as they leave the line, it looks like Lewis Bell has got the whole shot on the CCM as they go into turn 1. So as the riders make their way up the top of Finavon Hill, it's still Lewis Bell on the 1974 500 CCM. Just one of the machines that Lewis normally races. He races this bike and a 500cc Jawa. Number 29 going through there is Derek McCauley and the Bultaco. Stuart Rodden on the CCM. Now number 100 there on the little YZ 400 Yamaha is Ian Robertson. And number 22 is Darryl Wiley on that little XRXL 250 Honda. Now it looks like Louise has had an off-track excursion somewhere and took a bit of the barriers away. So as they crest the hill, it's Derek McCauley on the 250 Bultaco. There's Stuart Rodden there, number 20 on that beautiful CCM. It's Lewis Bell, number 9, on the 74 CCM, who has already opened a substantial lead on the rest of the chasing pack. Okay, as the rest of the riders head up the hill, that's Stuart Rodden on the CCM, followed by Tommy Anderson on the 1975 250 Husqvarna. Very quick rider, Tommy, and goes really well when his Husqvarna stays together. Number 14 there is Brian Hamilton on the CZ, 360 CZ. Brian, of course, was our club secretary for this 2018 racing season. Looks like Lewis has had a little off-track excursion there, but no damage done. Looks like he's got the bike going again and is still in the number 1 spot in the lead of this pre-75 race. Stuart Rodden still going well with Tommy Anderson on the Husky heading up the hill close behind. Ian Robertson there on the lovely little YZ Yamaha. Brian Hamilton again and on the 360 CZ, making his way up the Finavon Hill. So that was just a short glimpse of the pre-1975 class. Next we have the pre-1984 or Twinshock class, as it used to be known. This is their first race of the day. A nice lineup of pre-1984 bikes in this class. We have Maikos, YZ Yamahas, and a nice collection of different machines in this race. Our starter, Mr. David Hillis, just heading over to get the bikes underway for their very first race of the day. So the 15-second board is up, and as they leave the line, it looks like Walter Bickmore on that 1981 490 Maiko is going to take the whole shot. Yes, it looks like Walter Bickmore leading this very first pre-1984 class race. Second place man looks like it's John Stokes, on 490 Michael also. Third place man, it looks like David Loudon riding his KX Kawasaki. Just behind David there, number 21 is Neil Glendinning on the 480 Honda. So as the riders charge their way up the Finavon Hill for this first pre-1984 class race of the day, it looks like it's Walter Bickmore on that 490 Michael still in the lead, John Stokes in second, David Loudon third, Neil Glendinning fourth. That looked like Gordon Forbes going through. Number 43 is Andy Mallock on that 1983 500 Armstrong. So as the rest of these riders begin lap 2 of this first pre-1984 class race of the day, it's still number 31 there, Walter Bickmore, who is in the lead of this pre-1984 class. A very, very quick rider, this rider, Walter Bickmore, of course from Pennycook in Midlothian. Walter is a very well respected rider around Scottish Twinshock racing. Number 233 there is Graham Smith on the IT Yamaha. That's John Stokes there, number 151 on the 490 Michael, who is currently in second place. John going very well on this old German-made Michael. Third place there is still Neil Glendinning on the 480 Honda. So as the riders come round to start lap 2, number 233 there, as mentioned earlier, is Graham Smith on the very quick IT Yamaha. Number 52 there is Bill Porteous on the YZ465 Yamaha. He's followed by Jim Colligan, number 18 there on the 490 Michael. Two very good riders with the Scottish Classic Racing Club. So as they head up Finavon Hill, we pick up race leader, who has started his lap 3. That's Walter Bickmore, number 31 on the yellow 1981 490 Michael. Looks like Walter has a very substantial lead against the second place man, who still looks like it's John Stokes in second place on his 1981 Michael. But it's number 31, Walter Bickmore, who is taking charge of this first pre-1984 class race of the day. Walter coming round to complete yet another lap and puts him on to his last lap. Neil Glendinning looks like he's made the move up to second place on the 480 Honda, but it's still number 31, Walter Bickmore, in first place. Second place is Neil Glendinning there on the 480 Honda. Neil would go on to have a really good season at the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club, and unfortunately his bike would let him down in the last but one race of the season. So as the remaining riders come through, that's number 18 there is Jim Colligan on the 490 Michael. Jim, of course, is a Michael fanatic. He has tried other types of machines to race, but always seems to come back to these 490 Michaels. say, as Jim comes round to take the checkered flag, it was still a win for Walter Bickmore in first place, with Neil Glendinning in second. Okay, we're back to the pre-1968 class again for their second race of the day. The weather conditions here in Finavon Forfar are absolutely gorgeous for this very first race of 2018. So the starter, David Hillis, lets the bikes go, and it looks like a good start by Andrew King this time on the HIS Stormer, but looks like Liston Bell once more has overhauled him into turn 1. So it's Liston Bell once more leading Andrew King as almost a carbon copy of race 1. So your race leader is Liston Bell as he gets ready to power up the famous Finavon Hill. Andrew King in second place on the HIS Stormer. Andrew, of course, never far from Liston's back wheel in this race, and I think he's just basically out horsepowered on this track, but Andrew there giving a good account of himself on that very light and nimble HIS Stormer. That's Mike Bell again, number 89, going through on the VSA Gold Star. But still, your race leader is Liston Bell as he powers his way up the famous Finavon Hill. Andrew King looking to make a move going up the hill, and in fact passes Liston, but Liston fights back. A good battle between these two totally different bikes, but it looks like Andrew King has the advantage coming into the wet part of the track, but I would imagine that Liston, as you can see, has already passed him by, but Andrew King giving a good account of himself on that light and nimble HIS Stormer. But it's still Liston Bell in the lead. Can Andrew King do anything about the speed of Liston at this round 1 event at Finavon Hill? So as he heads up Finavon Hill, it's still your race leader, Liston Bell, on that big 500cc Jawa, coming up in fact to pass Ryan Aird on the BSA. So it's still Liston Bell, the leader, with Andrew King on the HIS Stormer in second spot. Number 246 is Ian Ward on the Villiers Sprite. Liston Bell already making his way through some of the pack in this race as he heads up the hill on the last lap of this pre-68 class race. Andrew King doing his best to get back onto terms with Liston Bell, but looks like it's going to be an easy win for Liston Bell this time around as they negotiate the very sticky part of the track at the bottom end. So as he comes round, it's win number 2 of the day for Liston Bell on the 500 Jawa. Andrew King in second place on that lovely HIS Stormer. So next up, we're back to the combined pre-1975 class, up to and over 300cc, as the riders wait patiently to be let loose by Mr. Hillis. 15-second board is up as they leave the line. It looks like a good start by Stuart Roden and Lewis Bell, but Lewis Bell looks like he has taken the whole shot from Stuart Roden in second. Tommy Anderson and Derek Macaulay having a little battle there to see who's going to take the early third place spot. So as the pre-75 riders come towards us for the first lap, it's still Lewis Bell in the lead. That's Stuart Roden there, number 20 on that CCM. CCM is perfectly suited for this particular track at Finavon with that big 4-stroke engine on these beautiful machines. But it's still Lewis Bell on the CCM who has already opened up a substantial lead from the second place man. Second place man, of course, is Derek McCauley with Tommy Anderson third, Stuart Roden fourth, and Ian Robertson on the YZ Yamaha currently in fifth. But it looks like Lewis is stretching the legs on that Clues competition machine. Very quick rider on an extremely quick machine. Beautiful bikes, these CCMs. So as they come towards us, it's still Lewis Bell out on his own on that CCM. Second place man will be coming through shortly, which looks like it's Derek McCauley on the 250 Bultaco Persang, number 29. Third place Tommy Anderson there on the 1975. So as they head up the Finavon Hill, Derek McCauley is having a good battle with Tommy Anderson there on the Husqvarna. Having a good scrap for this second and third positions. Although there is your race leader out on his own, Lewis Bell on the CCM. And that's Stuart Roden there, number 20. Stuart, of course, years ago was a well-known figure in Formula 1 motor car racing. Stuart has a good history with the Formula 1 guys. That's number 3, Tommy Anderson on the Husqvarna, still chasing down Derek McCauley's 250 Bultaco Persang. Tommy giving a good account of himself on that old Husqvarna. But here's your race winner, number 9, Lewis Bell on the CCM, as he casually takes his checkered flag for the second pre-75 race of the day. Okay, next up we have the pre-1984 class, or Twinshock boys once again, as they line up for their second race of the day. And as they leave the line, it looks like another excellent start from Walter Bickmore with David Loudon in second spot. Walter, of course, remember, won the first pre-1984 class race of the day. So it's Walter Bickmore on the 81 490 Maiko in first place. David Loudon on the KX Kawasaki with Gordon Forbes third. Jim Colligan there, number 18 on the 490 Maiko. I think Jim is currently in about 5th place at this moment in time, but these 490 Maikos well suited to these long drags up the Finavon Hill. So as they come round to complete lap 1, your race leader is still number 31, Walter Bickmore. David Loudon second, that's Gordon Forbes in third. Graham Smith in fourth, Jim Colligan fifth. Andy Mallock in 6th place there on the big 500cc Armstrong Rotax. So as the riders come towards us in lap 2, it's still Walter Bickmore, number 31, on that very quick 81 490 Maiko. Walter, of course, won many championships in Twinshock racing, and was the Scottish Twinshock champion in 2006. So as Walter comes round and over the Finavon Hill to complete yet another lap, he still has a decent lead over second place man David Loudon on the KX Kawasaki. David Loudon just making his way through on the Kawasaki. Gordon Forbes doing really well there in third place. Graham Smith in fourth, Jim Colligan fifth, and Andy Malik looks like he's going to make a move on Jim Colligan's Michael. But Walter Bickmore is out there on a class of his own on that 490 Michael, as we see Jim Colligan and Andy Malik do battle as they make their way up the beautiful Finavon landscape. But there is your second place man, number 75, that's David Loudon on that nice KX Kawasaki. David going through to complete another lap. Gordon Forbes is still in third position. Graham Smith in fourth on the IT Yamaha. Jim Colligan in fifth with Andy Malik on that 500 Armstrong. And so as the riders make their way from the far side of the track, they're looking at the second place man David Loudon as he comes round to take the last lap flag. Number 75, David Loudon in second place on the KX Kawasaki as he begins his last lap of this race 2. But here is your race leader on his last lap and heading towards his second win of the day. It's number 31, of course, Walter Bickmore on his very quick 490 Michael. So it's win number 2 for Walter Bickmore as he takes the checkered flag. Your second place man should be David Loudon there, number 75, as he crosses the line. Still a good performance from David, but just couldn't get onto terms with Walter in this second race. Okay, we're back to the pre-1968 class for their third race of the day. Still the weather is absolutely stunning for this very first day in April. So as the riders lead the line, it's a stormer of a start from Andrew King on that HIS. Liston Bell in second place. It looks like Liston has already passed Andrew King for the lead. So as they come towards us, yes it is. It's Liston Bell once more in the front of this leading pack. Andrew King in second spot. That's Brian Aird, number 71 on the ESA. Mike Bell going through on the Gold Star. Ian Ridley, number 51, going through. Ian Ward, Tom Forsyth. But as he comes round to complete lap 1, it's still Liston Bell in the lead with Andrew King on the HIS Stormer in second spot. That's Clifford Hardesty, number 72 on the PSA, making his way through to complete lap 1. Jim McQuillian just behind him with Ian Ward on that Villiers Sprite close behind. So as a race leader makes his way from the very sticky part of the track at the far side, it is still Liston Bell on that big Jawa. And still has a substantial lead on Andrew King in second position. Andrew King just going through there on the HIS. So as the remainder of the riders come towards us, it looks like Brian Aird, number 71 on the BSA with the orange crash hat. Very good rider as well, Brian, very consistent each and every weekend. Mike Bell going through there on the BSA Gold Star. But it's still Liston Bell in the lead of this third pre-1968 class race of the day. Big Jawa doing its stuff at this round 1 event here at the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club's first event of 2018. Andrew King still in second position, but barring any mechanical issues, it looks like it's going to be win number 3 for Liston Bell, as he is now on his final lap in this third pre-1968 class race of the day. So it looks like another easy win for Liston Bell as he comes round to lap Ian Ward. So it's win number 3 for Liston Bell in the pre-1968 class race 3. So next up we're going to do the pre-1975 up to and over 300cc class as we look at some of the riders lined up on the line. That's Stuart Roden there, number 20. Tommy Anderson there, number 3 on the 250 Husqvarna. Derek McCauley coming in to line up in number 29 on the Bultaco Pursang. That's Ian Robertson, number 100 on the Yamaha. Darryl Wiley there, number 22. So this is the third pre-1975 class race of the day. Riders just waiting on our starter, Mr. David Hillis, as we get a view of the riders leaving the start gate in this third pre-1975 race of the day. Mr. David Hillis coming towards the start gate, making sure all the riders are lined up. 15-second board is up, and they're off. It's like a good start from Stuart Roden on the CCM as they head into turn 1. It looks like Lewis Bell has been late to the start line as he joins the rear of the pack. But as the riders head towards us for lap 1, it's Stuart Roden who has the early lead from Derek McCauley on the little 250 Bultaco Pursang in second place. Tommy Anderson in third, Darryl Wiley in fourth, with Lewis Bell already up to 5th place. But it's still Stuart Roden on the big CCM being challenged by Derek McCauley on that very nimble little Spanish Bultaco Pursang. Of course, a little Bultaco will have the agility for the corners, but unfortunately will lose out on the power for these big Finavon hills. But it looks like he's done it anyway. It looks like Derek McCauley has put his little Bultaco in pole position there. Although I dare say Stuart will use the power of that big CCM to overhaul the little Bultaco as they head up Finavon Hill. But it looks like Lewis Bell is coming into the mix as he makes a move on Stuart Roden to try and take that second place position. But it doesn't look like Stuart's going to give up that second spot very easily, but it's still Derek McCauley on the little Bultaco who is your race leader in this third pre-1975 race of the day. But Lewis Bell on the CCM looks like he's about to make a move on the little Bultaco rider. The power of that big CCM showing as they make their way up the Finavon Hill. But it's still Derek McCauley keeping these big bikes at bay as they go through the sticky section of the track. Looks like Lewis Bell has now passed him for the lead. Yes, it's Lewis Bell on the CCM now who is your race leader, with Derek McCauley on the Altaco in second. So despite a very shaky start and joining the pack late in the start of this race, Lewis Bell has already hit the front with Derek McCauley second, and it looks like Tommy Anderson now has moved up into third place on the 75-250 Husqvarna. Tommy looks like he has passed Stuart Godin on his big CCM to put his little Husky in that coveted third place position. But nevertheless, there's your race winner. It's Lewis Bell, number 9 on the CCM, who was a winner of that third pre-1975 race of the day. Okay, last but not least, the pre-1984 class, or Twinshock class, with their final race before the lunch break. Walter Bickmore, of course, won races 1 and 2, so we'll see how they fare as Mr. Hillis lets the bike leave the line, and it looks like another good start from Walter Bickmore on the 490 Michael as he leads the pack into turn 1. Neil Glendinning is right up there in second spot on the 480 CR Honda. David Loudon is third. It looks like Graham Smith in fourth place, but as they come towards us, it's Walter Bickmore, Neil Glendinning second. That's Andy Malik, number 43 on the 1983 500 Armstrong, as they all make their way up the Finavon Hill. Now as the riders come towards us, it looks like it's still Walter Bickmore, number 31, in the lead. Second place man is Neil Glendinning there, number 121 on the 480 CR Honda. Extremely quick rider, Neil Glendinning. There's David Loudon on the KX Kawasaki in third. Graham Smith, in fourth, with what looks like Andy Malik in fifth. So as they come towards us once again, Walter Bickmore doesn't seem to have put a wheel wrong in this first part of the racing programme today, and once again has a nice comfortable lead over second place man Neil Glendinning. So as Walter comes round to complete yet another lap, looks very comfortable out in front on that 490 81 Michael. So as your race leader now comes towards us, it's still number 31, Walter Bickmore, with a good lead over second place man there, number 121. That's Neil Glendinning on that very quick 480 Honda. Very quick rider on a very quick machine, Neil. So as you make the way up Finavon Hill, it's still Walter Bickmore. Looks like he is still in the lead in first place, with Neil Glendinning second. Third place man David Loudon looks like he's came to a stop at the sticky part of the track in the corner. We'll just watch and see if David still manages to hold on to that third place position. Gordon Forbes wheeling his Michael to a standstill there. But it looks like there's no stopping this Pennycook rider Walter Bickmore on his Michael today as he heads towards win number 3 in the 1984 class. Absolutely perfect conditions for classic racing here at Finavon in Forfar. Now there's your second place man. It's still Neil Glendinning on the 480 Honda, number 121. So I hope you've enjoyed this very brief look at the racing from the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club's Round 1 event here at Forfar. And look out for more, of course, racing in part 2 from this event, as we look at the final riders coming round for this third pre-1984 class race. So it looks like yet another win for Walter Bickmore in the third race in the pre-1984 class at this round 1 event here at Finavon in Forfar. This video was brought to you in association with WorldSport, the world's #1 supplier for all your off-road and leisure sportswear. Just visit their online website for more details.